morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We will get started here in just a few minutes. All right. Hello, good morning. We'll go ahead and get started here in just a couple of minutes. We want to make sure that all of our friends are able to come into this webinar to be able to enjoy story time together. Great job, everyone. Let's give our friends, what do you say? Give them about a minute more? I think that sounds about good. It's time. Well, I hope you all are already having an absolutely wonderful day. I'm so excited that everyone is here. We'll get started now in about 45 seconds. So it's a nice, good time to get comfortable. Make sure our listening ears are on this beautiful morning. All right, we've got about 30 seconds and then we'll get started with our story time this morning. All right, hello and good morning, everyone. So excited to have everyone here. All right, let's give it a 10-second countdown, shall we? We are gonna start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well, hello, welcome, and good morning, everyone. My name is Kat, and I work for the California State Parks. I'm what's called an interpreter with the California State Parks. What that means is that I am a huge nature nerd. I am an educator, and I help to tell some of the stories of plants and animals that call this California State Park their home. Right now, you are connected live to MacKerricher State Park, a beautiful park in Fort Bragg, California, that I'm very, very excited to show you some pictures of. Today, we are going to be reading one of my favorite stories of all time. This is The Snail and the Whale by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. Today in our story, we are going to meet our two main characters, a snail and a whale. And the snail is going to have to be very, very brave in order to help her friend. I wonder if she can do it. I guess we'll find out. Today for this webinar, there are going to be 4 major things that we accomplish. Go ahead and hold up the number 4 on your hand. There's going to be 4 big things that we do today. The first big thing, give me a big number 1. First thing we're going to do is I am going to show you some pictures of MacKerricher State Park. So you can really get an idea of exactly where you are virtually visiting right now. The second big thing we're going to do, hold up a big number 2. The second thing we are going to do is we are going to read the book, The Snail and the Whale, together. The third big thing we are going to do, hold up that big number 3. The third thing we are going to do is we're going to think a little and we're going to talk a little about what we can learn from our storybook. And then the fourth big thing we're going to do, I think you're going to be excited about this one. The fourth thing we are going to do is I'm going to pick up my camera and we're going to walk all around this very big, very cool skeleton I am standing in front of today. Now, knowing that we are going to be reading The Snail and the Whale, what kind of skeleton do you think this might be that I am standing in front of today? If you think you know what kind of skeleton this is, I want you to very quietly turn to a person near you and tell them, what kind of skeleton do you think this is? I will give you 10 seconds to tell your friend. 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's bring it all back together. Today, I am standing in front of a fully articulated or put together gray whale skeleton. So for everybody that thought that this looked like a whale, you were absolutely correct. So that fourth thing we're going to do today is we're really going to check out some cool details on this skeleton. So those are our big 4 things we're hoping to accomplish. What do you think? You think we're going to be able to accomplish all of that? Give me a big thumbs up if you think we're going to be able to accomplish those big 4 things today. Ooh, great job, everyone. I love this early morning enthusiasm. So let's think back. That first thing, oh yeah, I was going to show you some pictures of this beautiful California State Park that I'm talking to you from right now. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pull up my favorite 9,437,386 pictures. Just kidding, not that many. Okay, here we go. We know this shape. We know this place. This is our beautiful state of California, MacKerricher State Park, where you're up here talking to me right now, is all the way up here in Fort Bragg, California. So where you see that little white dot next to Fort Bragg, boop, that's exactly where MacKerricher State Park is. Now let's take a closer look at this map. Now we see the little white dot, it's on kind of the tan part of the map, but it's touching this really big blue part on the map. I wonder if you know, what is that very big blue part on our map? If you know, I want you to quietly tell someone near you, what is the blue part on our map next to the state of California? 5 seconds to tell a friend. 3, 2, 1, and 0. If you were thinking to yourself, well, this big blue thing on our map looks an awful lot like water. That looks an awful lot like an awful lot of water. I bet it's the ocean. You would be absolutely correct. Now, MacKerricher State Park is right on the ocean, specifically the Pacific. We have a lot more here than just sand. We have lots of different kinds of habitats or homes for plants and animals here in MacKerricher State Park. Like this sort of space where we see really tall trees and we get to see deer and raccoon and skunks and banana slugs and coyotes. This kind of home or this habitat is called a forest. So we have a forest here in MacKerricher. We also have this kind of habitat or this kind of home. This is very round and it's very deep and it's filled with fresh water. In this habitat, we see lots of ducks paddling on the surface, frogs and salamanders hanging out on the banks. We see fish swimming through the fresh water. This is a lake habitat. This is Lake Cleone here in MacKerricher State Park. Great job, everyone. Another habitat we have here. I know this picture isn't all that exciting, but I need you to hear me out here because this home or this habitat is really important. This is an area on top of cliffs overlooking the ocean where brown, dry grass sways in the wind. There's lots of seeds and nuts for the many, many squirrels that call this habitat their home. This is a coastal headland. Great job. I'm hoping you can get a little bit of a view of how much life we have here on land in MacKerricher. But the setting of our book, and like we already know from our map, one of our biggest habitats here in the park is going to be the ocean. Now, here in MacKerricher, we're actually connected to a really special part of the ocean called a marine protected area, or an MPA for short. Marine protected areas are so important and super cool because a marine protected area is almost like an underwater park. So here on land, we work really hard to make sure that nobody's coming into MacKerricher to take all of the trees or to take all of the squirrels. Oh no! Well, we do the same thing underwater in a marine protected area. We keep the fish safe and we help keep the kelp safe while also making MPAs a really cool place to go and play, to recreate. Now, because we have this spot of the ocean that has extra protections right here next to our park, we get to see lots and lots and lots of different kinds of animals. We get to see lots and lots of my personal favorite, the harbor seal. I wonder if this is a character we will meet in our book. We also get to meet many whales. This is a gray whale mother with her calf, with her baby, and they pass by our marine protected area 2 times a year when they migrate. This is the same kind of whale as the kind of skeleton that I'm standing in front of today that we know we'll explore a little bit more later. And we also know that this is one of our main characters in our book. And then, of course, the other main character of our book, the very strong sea snail. This is a turban snail. And we get to see lots of these creatures in tide pools in our marine protected areas. So my friends, I wanted to give you a little bit of a view, not just into what this amazing California State Park looks like, but also some real life pictures of the main characters of our story. So that is our first thing off the list. Check, look at us go. Now the next thing we're gonna do together is go ahead and dive into our book, The Snail and the Whale. But before we do, I have a challenge for you. That's right, my challenge for you today is going to involve moving your hands a lot. So go ahead and shake out your hands, wake them up this morning. Shake it out, shake it out. All right, good job. My challenge for you as we read this book together is every time you hear the word snail, I want you to make snail eyes right on top of your head, just like this. Show everybody your snail eyes. Snail eyes to the right. Woo! To the left. Woo! Crisscross. All right, good job, everybody. And every time you hear the word whale, I want you to go ahead and make a whale tail with your hand, just like this, and wave that whale tail around. Great job, everybody. Let's go ahead and practice here for a moment. Ready? Gotta practice. Snail. Snail. Whale. Whale. Snail. Snail. Whale. Whale. Snail. Whale. Snail. Snail. Whale. Snail. Whale. Good. Great job, everybody. Now, this book has lots and lots of beautiful pictures in it or illustrations that I want to make sure you can see really clearly. So what I'm doing right now is I'm pulling up all of the beautiful pictures in this book so that you can see them really clearly on your screen as we read together. It'll be like you're reading this book right over my shoulder here in MacKerricher. All right, we're almost ready. And here we go. This is The Snail and the Whale by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. This is the tale of a tiny snail and a great big gray-blue humpback whale. And this is a rock as black as soot. And this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. As she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to that smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wiggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sniffed and sighed, then cried, "I've got it! I'll hitch a ride." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, "Ride wanted around the world." This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright, a humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out at the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." This is the sea, so wild and free, that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far off lands. Ooh, if we look really close, I bet we're gonna see an animal I showed you a picture of. Yeah, there's our friend, our seal friends. Good job, everybody. With fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves, where colorful fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam past the whale and the snail on his tail. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening a tiny snail on the tail of the whale. Let's go check out how our snail is doing in this picture. Ooh, uh-oh. Does that look like a happy snail to you? Oh, not so much. They look kind of afraid. I hope it gets better for them. As she gazed at the sky and the sea and the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand, she gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." Ooh. When when the snail says, "I feel so small," do you think she's having a good feeling or a bad feeling when she says those words, "I feel so small"? Go ahead and use your thumb. Show everybody around you what you're thinking. Is the snail feeling good right now or not so much? Okay. Yeah, it's maybe not that bad, not that great of a feeling, is it? I feel so small. Well, let's see what the snail does with that feeling. But then came a day, bum, bum, bum. The whale lost his way. There are speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar. making him swim too close to the shore. And this is the tide slipping away. And this is the whale lying beached in the bay. Quick, off the sand, back to sea, cried the snail. I can't move on land. I'm too big, moaned the whale. Well, the snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, I've got it, she cried, and she started to crawl. I must not fail, said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. And this is a teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. And this is a board as black as soot. And this is a snail with an itchy foot. A snail! A snail! The teacher turns pale. Look, say the children, it's leaving a trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, save the whale. These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay. And these are the villagers shouting, hooray! Some really good hooray hands. Yes, we're celebrating. As the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who say, how time's flown, and haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of a humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of a gray-blue humpback whale. The end. Great job, everyone. I know keeping up with all those snails and whales and whales and snails is not easy to do. You did a fantastic job. Can you see why I like this book so much? I think it's really cool that even though the snail, our snail friend, was feeling small and afraid in that thunderstorm too, she was still able to make a really big difference. She was able to help her friend, the whale. Now, I wonder if somebody can help me remember really quietly. I want you to turn to someone near you and maybe help them remember too. What did the snail do to help the whale? This one we're going to do 15 seconds. Remind someone close to you. What did that snail do to help the whale? 15 seconds starting now. All right, and we are coming back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are back together. Now, in our book, I hope this is what you remember as well. The snail used her looping, curling, silvery trail to write on the blackboard in the classroom and to ask other people for help. She went and she communicated. She went and asked for help, which isn't always the easiest thing to do, especially if you're feeling kind of small. But because our snail was so brave and she asked everybody for help, she was able to save her friend. Now, our book is what's called fiction. That means that this is a story that did not happen in real life. But we know in real life, in our oceans, we have lots of whales and we have lots of snails and we have lots of other creatures too. So let's take a moment to think. How can we be more like the snail and help animals in the ocean? Let's narrow it down to whales. How can we help whales in real life? Now, this is a really big question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step off screen for 2 minutes. I would like for you to discuss how we as humans can help whales in real life. Your 2 minutes starts now. You have 1 minute left. You have 30 seconds left. Right. And we are in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Let's bring it all back together. I'm sure you had some really incredible discussions about how we as humans can help whales in real life. Some amazing ideas that I've heard from students before are ideas about helping to keep our ocean clean, to help keep the whales healthy and happy. When we keep our ocean healthy and happy, we're making sure that their home, their habitat is a safe place to live. We can make lots of choices about how to help our ocean, from making greener choices, things that help our whole atmosphere. We can make choices to pick up litter on the beach. We can make choices to recycle. And the best part is when we help our ocean, we're helping not just whales, we're helping animals all the way down to the size of a snail as well. My final challenge for you today, I know I'm full of challenges today. My final challenge for you today is one that we like to call Take 3 for the sea. Go ahead and show me that hand motion. Ready? Take 3 for the sea. What this challenge means is that today I would like for you to try to pick up 3 pieces of litter to make sure that that litter doesn't accidentally end up in the sea. So let's do that one more time. Ready? Take 3 for the sea. Give me a big thumbs up if you think you are going to be able to pick up 3 pieces of trash today. Go ahead and look at all of the thumbs around you, all those thumbs up. I bet just those little 3 pieces here and there are gonna make a really big difference. Great job, everyone. We are approaching the end of our time together, and I have promised that we are gonna go check out some cool parts of this whale skeleton. So you're gonna notice my camera jostle around a little bit. It is okay. It is supposed to do that. I am taking it off the tripod. I am switching the camera around, and if we do this, whoa, whale. Oh, let's go ahead and check it out. We'll start off with the mouth. Whoa, we're in the mouth of a whale. And we come on back. This is where a whale's eye is. And then we've got their spine and their ribs. Let's take a look at that front flipper together too. I wonder if there's a part of your body that looks an awful lot like this. Yeah, it kind of looks like a human hand, doesn't it? This animal just uses it for a different purpose. Those bones look similar, but they're used for something different. And if we follow this spine all the way back here, where's its tail? I'm kidding. The tail of a whale is made almost entirely out of cartilage. So the same thing that your nose and your ears are made out of. They don't have any bones in their tails. So don't worry. Nobody stole our whale's tail. There were just no bones to put there. All right, let's take one more cool look at that flipper, and then I am going to have to say goodbye, my new friends. All right, well, coming back around. All right, and I'm back. My friends, I just wanted to take this last minute to say thank you so much for coming and visiting me in MacKerricher State Park, for reading one of my favorite stories, The Snail and the Whale. And I also want to thank you for accepting my Take 3 for the Sea challenge today. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. Thank you for coming to MacKerricher State Park. Bye, everybody.